What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the latest episode of Buckeye-Film-Breakdown. As always, I am Jeremy. Other side of the screen in the corner, we got Coach Slate. We are back together after some life happening things, but we're back. We want to hop into some more positional breakdowns. We are like a week away from spring ball, so we've got the D line for you guys tonight. No group was hit harder, sheer numbers wise, from the transfer portal than these guys.
Yeah, it was like every day, man. The defensive tackles were just getting obliterated with the young guys just leaving, and I think that was a shocker. There were guys in that position group that you and I were big fans of,
Yeah.
especially Jarquez Carter,
Yep.
man. Like that one was a big loss, and I think when you think about losing those guys, you immediately start to panic. But as you're going to see when we watch a few of these clips, man, I think Ohio State did not panic because there were some good things from guys that are currently on the roster right now that are coming back, that they were like, listen, if we can supplement with some guys in the portal with what we have now currently that played this year, I think we're going to be okay. So I think the Buckeyes are in a decent spot. And they had a pretty decent class as well, recruiting wise. But it did suck to lose some of those young guys, man. Jarquez Carter, that was my guy. Did not want to lose him because he has a ton of potential. But yeah, man, that defensive line group was definitely hit hard in the transfer portal.
Yeah, I mean, just sheer decimation. But like you said, there's some good things coming back. You know, transfer portal additions in this group are pretty solid, including a guy who some places had as the number one, D lineman, if not number one player in the portal. Um, that's a huge thing, to be able to finally go and get some of those guys. Obviously, there's a lot of Ohio State fans who wanted Chaz Coleman, and when Chaz Coleman went to Tennessee, the sky was falling. Potential wise, yeah, Chaz Coleman's got it all, but we still haven't seen it out of him on the field. We've seen flashes. So, good luck in Tennessee. That could be a guy you see in the portal again next year. Let's be honest. Um,
Yeah.
so with it being such a big group, before we hop into some clips, let's just hop into what the roster looks like. Defensive ends, you had 5 guys depart. You had Caden Curry graduate. You had your guy CJ Hicks end up transferring. Dominic Kirks transfers. Logan George, another guy who we thought there was a lot of potential for, transfers. And then Joshua Mickens transfers. So that left you 4 returners in the defensive end part of the group. Kenyatta Jackson, Zion Grady, who saw a lot of meaningful playing time,
Yep.
Bo Atkinson, who saw, a lot of playing time, and then redshirt freshman and a dude who I think has a boatload of potential in Epi Citinelli. Um,
Yeah.
you add those 4 with the 4 additions, you have the Alabama transfer Quay Russaw, and then you have the 3 freshmen, Kari Wilder, Drake Quinn, and Darius McKinley. I still have a sneaking suspicion. You disagree with me, I know. I think Braxton Rimbert might end up as an edge, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely got the body frame for it. I think he's got to put on quite a bit of weight to end up, being in that spot. But he could definitely be there. I think he just has that frame that you just don't know. He's pretty wiry.
Right.
He could become, that Arvell Reese type where he's just a super athlete that can do a lot of different things. Another guy that I think could be, I don't want to say a full-time edge, but Christian Alliegro, I think he could potentially be down as one of these edge guys as well. Linebacker transfer from Wisconsin. He's 6'5", 250 pounds. I mean, this guy is a monster. He did some things for Wisconsin, as we talked about in his film breakdown. So I do think he's going to be added to that edge room at times. Kari Wilder is going to play.
Yes. Yes,
He's
he
going to
is.
play as a freshman. That is something that you're going to see. He's got to get on the field early. You just saw that his star just continued to rise as the recruiting process went on. The Buckeyes got in on him kind of early, and then he just shot through the roof and ended up being one of the top players in the country. And so this guy is going to see the field early. And so this defensive end group has turned into a question, went from a question mark to what I think is now I think it's a little bit of a strength. And that is something that I feel pretty confident in. Um, I think I think there are some guys that I think are getting overlooked. I'm not gonna lie. Epi Centinela, yeah,
Dog.
this guy is he has the potential to be that athletic edge rusher that we have always wanted, that we can utilize in a Matt Patricia defense. I think he can just do so many different things. One guy that I think that we often forget about that Coach Patricia coached in New England is Jamie Collins, right? We had Jamie
Yeah.
Collins was somebody who played linebacker, he played edge, he just did a lot of different things. And I think you're starting to see him get guys on this roster, the Quay Russaws, the Epi Santanales, the Christian Alliegros, these versatile guys who could play multiple spots that can really get after the quarterback. And I think Epi fits that mold as well. And so that's a guy that I'm really excited about. I think he's really going to take that next step this spring. I think he has to. I think it's important for our depth. I think he has to take that next step. And obviously, we already know what we kind of expect from Zion. I'm interested to see what Zion's. It sounds crazy. I'm interested to see what his body does development wise because he's a big dude.
Yeah.
Like I'm interested to see where he gets to. Like he is a big dude, and so what does his frame look like? Like does he end up outgrowing being a defensive end? Like I just think he's
Does he
going
go
to
the Edric
just
Houston route?
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I just think he's just going to be a massive individual before it's all said and done at Ohio State. And so I think that's something that we need to pay attention to. But he's going to be an edge this year with versatility like Kenyatta to bump down inside in our penny front and cause a lot of disruption.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. So the Jamie Collins comparison, former also Brown Jamie Collins.
Yeah.
Uh, so that's a good leadway. Our guy Jake's about to hop in and join us. But, before we jump into the defensive tackles, you talk about this Matt
Jamie
Patricia defense.
Collins. Well, he's
Yeah,
been there
man.
forever.
Give me a Vince Wilfork though. Like that's what we're missing, and that's what we thought we had with Jarquez Carter. Obviously
Yeah.
Vince Wilfork is top tier, and Jarquez Carter was unproven, but body style, you were getting close.
Yeah, and I think that's where John Walker comes into play. I think that's why they brought him in. I think that's why where God, the Alabama kid James Smith. I think that's where
Yeah.
these big guys come into play. The other guy that we're going to talk about, and I've got a couple clips in here, Will Smith Jr. Don't forget about him, man. He did some really good things for the Buckeyes this year and is really starting to come into his own. He's not going to be 350 pounds. All right. He's going to be in that 300, 310 range, might be 320. But I'm telling you, the way that he played, the heavy hands, the knockback, there's a lot of things to like about his game and the way that he's developing. So again, Will Smith Jr., you had the two transfers that we got. That nose tackle room is very solid now because of that development from Will Smith Jr. Again, we keep wondering where's Coach Johnson going, but somehow he just keeps developing these 3-star guys, man. He just keeps finding a way to develop them. And so Will Smith Jr. is a guy who really stepped up for us this year, and I think he's going to take that next step this year. He's got no choice. I mean, he's got to be a guy for us.
I mean, there were times last year he got knocked back though, man. There were times that he just looked a little rough. So yeah, D
Wait,
tackle.
wait till we show you this clip that I got for you against Miami.
D tackle, real quick. 6 departures. Caden McDonald obviously going to most likely be a first round pick. Taiwan
Yeah.
Malone graduated. Then you have the Jarquez Carter transfer, which kind of stings. Eric Mensah, Trajan Odom, Maxwell Roy. Maxwell Roy is another guy who, a little undersized coming in, but I thought he could get there. Um, that left you with 3 returning defensive tackles.
Yeah.
Edric Houston, who seems like there was something weird that went on part of the year when he was losing time to Taiwan Malone. Then you have Will Smith and then Jason Moore. But you reload the clip a little bit with, you mentioned the 2 transfers, James Smith and John Walker, both dudes. Jameer Perez, from a body size standpoint, you know, could play. I don't think he's going to play this year. I think he's got a lot of work to do, but he's going to be intriguing to follow his development. And then Emmanuel Ruffin, and then one of the most slept on guys in the recruiting class, in Damari Simeon.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree, man. I think this defensive tackle room is very underrated. And I think the one thing that we have to remember is not everybody's going to be a 1 year player, 2 year player, like I'm going to get on the field right away. Some guys need to develop. And Jason Moore may be a 4 or 5 year guy. You know what I mean? It may
Right.
have taken him to his redshirt junior year to become a dude, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And so the hope is that this year it clicks for him, because if it does, watch out. You talk about a guy who's got the frame, he can do a lot of different things. And so we're hoping that clicks for him. And I think he's an often forgot about guy.
Absolutely.
Um, and I think, this is a guy who stuck around for these years, and he could have jumped in the portal and gone somewhere and probably seen the field right away. So there's a reason why he's sticking around. And so that's a guy that I think is going to be able to help out in this rotation. Again, we talked about Will Smith Jr. and the guys that we brought in. I think this defensive tackle room is very, very solid. I think the 2 transfer additions were really good pickups. James Smith, SEC experience, anchoring in the SEC, for coming from Alabama. Anytime you can get SEC defensive tackles, I'll take them all day long. And the other thing too about Taiwan Malone, now that he's gone, I know that Edric Houston was expected to be the guy for us this year. I don't know if it was more so something going on with Edric, or it was Taiwan Malone's athletic ability and everything finally starting to click for him, because this is a guy who was a baseball player. He wasn't a full-time football player.
Right.
When he came to Ohio State, it was his first time actually focusing on football only, right? And it was his first time actually getting spring ball and those type of things. And so this was the first time he had football for a full year only. And it finally started to click for him. And he had a good season. I think people often forget about that with Taiwan. And so I think it just was competition started to breed some really good play from him. And I think Edric, he had to go earn some things. And I think that's going to be great for Edric's development. And so I think Taiwan really earned his stripes this year. And I think that's going to really bode well for Edric coming into his junior season, because he's got to be that 5-star guy that we recruited out of high school.
I agree wholeheartedly. Bo Atkinson's another guy that, you know, we talk about. Yes, he's listed as an end guy, but I know you think he's going to move inside some. And I know you've got some clips on him, so we'll dive into him a little deeper then. But I think that's a guy who could be sneaky good.
Yeah, man. Listen, there's a lot of people that are down on Bo Atkinson, right? There's a lot of guys that are down on him. They think he's been a bust as a transfer guy. I am adamant about this I don't know if it's a philosophy, but this idea that Kenyatta and Caden Curry came back for a reason. And that reason was to get the same treatment that JT and Jack Sawyer got, right? JT and Jack Sawyer never came off the field. Okay. And so if I'm going to come back for my 4th year, my senior year as Caden Curry, I expect that same treatment. If I'm not going to get that same treatment, I'm going back home. I'm going to Indiana. I'm going to Notre Dame. I'm going to go somewhere where I'm going to go get on the field all the time. Right. And so that is something that I think people often forget. They're not going to rotate those guys out. Okay. And so I think that had something to do with why Bo Atkinson didn't play a lot. Now, Bo Atkinson, you talked about, and I think it's a great point. Bo Atkinson's kind of stiff. He's a big